In hypnotherapy, we often talk about the power of suggestion. But have you ever wondered how the frequency of your thoughts could act as a form of self hypnosis and programming your very reality? I'm Meredith McCarthy, and this is Talk Time. I'm going to be talking to Teresa Saunders, my fellow colleague, about this very topic.
One.
Welcome. What are your thoughts on, I guess, that idea of hypnosis and thoughts and frequency, all of those things? What pops into your mind?
Wow, it's such a loaded question, isn't it? I guess it's about programming, to be honest. Thoughts and
Mm,
frequency and suggestion. It's around us. Hypnosis, people think that that's just what clinicians actually do or stage people do, hypnosis. But
mm,
I believe we're open to hypnotic suggestions on a daily basis and we're taking those in.
mm. Well, let's talk about self hypnosis for a moment. Every time you go and daydream, you're going into potentially self hypnosis.
Mm.
So the quality of that daydream counts. So if you're daydreaming in doom and gloom, well, hello, it's not going to be very nice for you. So if we're going to bother daydreaming about something, it's important to make it um, more shiny, let's say.
That's an interesting one, isn't it, really? Because how often do we think about daydreaming? We can just drift off, can't we? We can listening to something and just
Mm,
suddenly drift off. So, how
mm.
would one actually change their thoughts to being positive or go off to do a daydreaming positivity?
I think it's essential to start with the intention first. So you don't go into self hypnosis, for example, and then decide what you're going to do about your positive intention. Start with the positive intention first and then go into self hypnosis. So it's like, okay, how do we go into self hypnosis? It could be as simple as you close your eyes or put your eyes in a soft focus in front of you, but you're just narrowing your focus and you're coming inward and you're time traveling potentially in your mind. You're going to a situation in the future that you can imagine yourself being successful. So it can be as simple as doing a little positive dress rehearsal in your mind where you are going there maybe less than a minute, but it's
Mm.
potent. It leaves an impression upon your subconscious about what it is that you want to run as a program.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I think this is something that we need to learn the art of doing is to be thinking and flipping things into positive experiences and thoughts, because I think we naturally tend to drift towards that negative ability.
Mm, absolutely. Why is that? Let's explore why we might naturally drift into the negative. Survival. Yeah. So if we aren't noticing what could potentially go wrong, we may not survive something. So our brain naturally will go and hunt for danger because its ultimate job of the subconscious is surviving, right?
Yeah. Our brain just wants to protect us, it wants to keep us alive.
Yeah. So it thinks it's doing a fantastic day, fantastic time of things, sort of focusing on all the things that could possibly go wrong.
Mm.
The problem is it induces an anxiety, and often those things will never even happen. That's the strange part, is that we're giving our energy and time to something that may never happen that way. We must come back to a basic understanding that we are pretty versatile. So let's ask you, if we use a ball analogy for a moment, if I were to throw a ball at you, what would you instantly do?
I would duck or move away. I
Yeah.
try to dodge the ball.
Now, you have learned to do that because
It's a survival instinct. I've probably been hit by a ball before and know that it hurts.
now others may just catch the ball, right?
Maybe. Depends on how fast it is or how good they are at catching.
Exactly right. So they are going to, in a split second, decide the best outcome the best action to get the best outcome. So if it was too fast, they would dodge because it's like, oh, no. And in a split second, so quick, their body would react in the right way. So the more we go through life, we need to trust our basic instincts to make a good decision. We cannot keep sitting in a place where we're looking at the future and hoping that it's not going to turn out badly. And if it did, I'm going to do this. And if that happens, I'll do this. Because it's a lot of time wasted on something that intuitively, when the time is actually happening and you're faced with a real time decision, you're going to make a good choice. You need to baseline trust that you instinctively you're wired that way. So not a lot of pre-thinking is going to help you out if you're thinking about the doomsday scenario. What are your thoughts on that, Teresa? From a hypnotic point of view, I think let's go there.
Um, we need to self-analyze more in some ways. Often we just go through life as emotion and we don't even notice what we're doing. So if we actually come back and we look at, especially if our scenario of what we're living is not what we actually want to be doing, is looking at that and reflecting as to why I'm actually doing this.
Mm.
And how can I change my reactions to achieve what I actually want my outcome to be? I don't want it to be going that way.
Yeah. So being more directive and affirming, like, yeah, I want to have this experience and this is what I can put in place to heighten that ability to get there. So
Mm.
your mindset is a big part of it, isn't it?
It is, and being clear of what you actually want. And that may mean that you need to sit down and do a brainstorm beforehand of what you actually want to achieve, what your purpose actually is. Because quite often people don't know what it is
Yeah,
because they've
yeah.
been living in that survival mode for so long.
I was actually talking to someone today about their purpose, and it's interesting because I think a lot of people do struggle with that. Why am I here? What
Mm.
am I meant to be doing? And they're like a ship without a destination. Someone who wakes up maybe feeling depressed or anxious about stuff, and they question, what am I even doing? That is a good catalyst to start to understand that many times the breakthrough comes with a breakdown. So, quite often we are forced to stop, and through that positive stress moment, to start a reflective practice, right?
Yeah, and I think another position for that actually happening or occurring is like your empty nest syndrome. So often women, start off in a career, they get married and then their mother, and that's what they sort of identify as, and they lose themselves in that mother and doing everything else for all the children and the husband maybe or partner. And then all of a sudden they've grown up, they've left home and it's like, well, where do I fit in now? What do
Yeah,
I do?
absolutely. It is an interesting thing. I think through our journey in life, we go through different phases, and we do need to stop and just reflect on one stage potentially coming to an end and a new stage beginning. And what does that mean to you? What do you want to happen next? And setting up that next pathway, right?
Yeah, and instead of it being perhaps you thinking it being a doom and gloom journey, make it into a positive thing. So what can I do now? The children aren't here. I can go and do that travel that I've always wanted to because it's just us.
Yeah,
Or, I can have me time now and go and do the activities and hobbies that I wanted to do. So it's changing, like we said earlier, changing your mindset
Mm,
and looking at the positives in life rather than
yeah,
reflecting on the negatives.
for sure. And, that's that frequency of thinking again into that positive zone. We want to affy or support that positive train of thought. And in a hypnotic setting, that's what we do best. We're there to amplify that positive messaging.
Hmm. Reframing our thoughts,
Mm,
like you say, making them bigger and brighter and bolder,
mm,
really feeling that energy.
absolutely. When we think about the idea of journeying someone through a hypnotic process, we've got World Hypnosis Day coming up soon, actually. It's on the 4th of January every year, so same time every year. And we've kind of shouted out to get different hypnotherapists to put together a 10-minute journey um, to highlight what they do as hypnotherapists and a bit of a blog as well. So it'll be interesting to see who submits those deadlines today, actually. So we'll see what happens. But when we're kind of looking at hypnotherapists in general working with their clients, they all work a little differently. But also the client's different. Every single client that you work with is unique. And so the way that that client needs to reinforce their positive story might be quite different to another client that would like to reinforce their positive story. And what that positive story ends up becoming is really the client's creation. It's not the hypnotherapist's um, pushing upon that client what they think is best for the client. So
No.
when we're looking at that positive story and initiating positive suggestion and that vibration, it must feel right for the client. So during the journey of exploration with a client, I like to find what I like to call golden nuggets, like these little words or phrases that the client really wants more of in their life. And that could be simply noticing they feel a lack of strength and stability, let's say. So I might say, well, what do you want to feel instead? And they want to say, well, I want to feel strong and stable. And then I might say, well, what does that really mean to you? And then they might delve deeper and they go, well, I guess I need to have this quiet confidence that is underpinned by belief in myself that I can do anything I put my mind to. So now, right there is a perfect little line of suggestions. And you find every day you start to be able to manifest into your life the things that you truly want. And you begin to allow yourself to feel that strength and stability and that confidence underpinning everything as you begin to attract your perfect life to you. So we can start to take those little wee nugget words and begin to weave that into the client's journey. And those words strangely become their words because that's where they came from to begin with.
Mm. And I think that's really a crucial thing to remember, using your client's words within your hypnotic journey, not
Mm,
using your terminology, because it just doesn't resonate as well with your client as their
mm.
own words do.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. What other thoughts have you got in the way of sort of today's topic? Would you like to add to anything?
So, what I would like to sort of think is, now that we've talked about the frequency of thoughts, how would this reshape the way you think, knowing that frequently affects it?
Yeah. So if we know that the more we say things that are empowering, let's say, I'm calm, strong, confident, and stable, that frequency, those words, those positive words have a frequency all by themselves and they affect change in your energy body. And you are hypnotizing yourself. Every time you're reinforcing those strong, positive words, you are hypnotizing yourself into that state. And you're going to start to attract into your life that is a match to that frequency of belief.
I know years ago, I used to listen to Tony Robbins, and Don't hate me, people out there that love Tony Robbins. I just thought it was very Americanized, and I could never imagine myself saying, I am great, I am fantastic, I love myself, looking into the mirror and saying it out day and day to try and build that frequency. But as the years have gone, I've realized that he really did have and has still got this amazing ability to lift your frequency by listening. And those power of words really do affect how you feel.
Mm,
Like we've been talking about, those frequencies, what we say, and saying, if you don't like yourself and you do have negative thoughts about yourself, but saying, I love myself, I'm feeling better and better each day, and
mm.
getting, it might start off not very much, but then you start to believe that because you hear it more and more, and you building more passion when you're saying those words.
It just reminded me of a little book I've got. Strangely, I've actually got it underneath my computer right now, but it is called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And
Hmm.
um, it's very useful to prop up computers as well as reading. But she was a wonderful guru, I think, a wonderful teacher to really reinforce the power of words. And she would do this exercise called mirror work. And she would get people to look in the mirror and go, I love you. And she would get them to engage their name. So, Meredith, I love you. Meredith, you are loved. You are lovable. Now, she said, every time you see yourself in a reflection, you do that again and again and again. Now, at the beginning, people don't believe it, whatever, but there comes a point where you say it enough times that you're stimulating new neural pathways and something shifts, and you suddenly say it with conviction. You suddenly say it and you actually mean it, and you feel that shift. And I swear you can change the relationship you're having with yourself by changing the thought frequency and the quality of thoughts. You can absolutely reinvent yourself from being that depressive, anxiety, kind of fear focused human that hates everything about themselves and the world around them to a loving being that is grateful and feels enriched and full of life and purpose. Absolutely, you can change your world. You can shift your whole paradigm around. And it all comes down to the thoughts. The thoughts that you're thinking today affect your tomorrow.
For sure. And you can change them. It doesn't matter where you are in life. You can start right now by
Mm.
changing that frequency by those simple words. And like you say, the more you say it, the more you're going to believe it. You're going to create it. It will happen.
Absolutely. So, on that note, I hope you found today's journey interesting. We've got more of these to come. So, we've got a whole series on the frequency of thoughts. So, please, like, subscribe, comment below. If you go away and maybe try that mirror work, look up Louise Hay. You Can Heal Your Life. It's a pretty cool book, actually. I don't think it'll ever get old. I think the foundation of it is just solid. But there are many, many positive, affirming, interesting authors out there sharing the same stuff, and that there's something in it. And as a hypnotherapist, I've witnessed people shifting their story again and again and again over the years. And it's been so rewarding to see them really blossom into the person that they were all along, actually. You know.
Mm.
Um, And if you're interested in training as a hypnotherapist, please visit their website. You can download the prospectus. You can check in for a discovery call with me and ask me questions. We've got a new round coming up in February, so that's exciting. Anyway, you can visit the website nzach.ac.nz. And remember, like and subscribe and all of that stuff if you want to come along on this journey of talking about words and frequency and thoughts and stuff like that. So thank you, Teresa, for joining
Thank you,
me again.
Meredith. Thank you. You're welcome. I look forward to next week.
Excellent. And bye-bye for now out there, and hope to see you along next week, everyone.
Bye.